Hi everybody, and welcome to this next video in my series on building a responsive website from, everything, the whole workflow. In this video, we're going to be looking at the hero area and the header, the logo, the navigation, and the thing with the phone on it there. I was a little bit all over the place in this video, so I do apologize, but you're going to see it gets focused pretty quickly. Yeah, and that's it. Let's get started on this one. So I'm going to create a couple of files here. So I'm going to save this one as, what is it called? Base. Base. It's sort of the base styles things that I use, and it gets saved in my base folder. Base.sas. And one thing I use in here that I like to do, this is sort of just things that I don't really know where else to put them. I guess you could say, just like the general things that I use all the time. So add import base/base. So in here are my, if I had a clear fix, I'd put it in my base. If I had, I might have a few other things that I at one point throw in here. For the moment, the only thing I'm going to do is throw in my, change my border box. So star before and my star after will all be box sizing border box, just because I find that makes my life a million times easier. Is there anything else? I'm going to leave it like that for now. I'm probably going to jump back into this folder every now and then. There's file, so I will leave it opened. I'm going to make a new one, save. We'll call this one header. I'm going to do a couple right now just to get things rolling a little bit. Jump into SAS, into layout. Header.sass. And the other one that I'm going to want to have, since we're here, is hero.sass, since they sort of work together with one another so much. And let's go over to my main and import them all. So that's all in layout. So at import layout / I did my header and I did an import layout hero. Let's just go layout header. Okay, so my header and my hero, let's give this, just so we can actually start seeing what we're doing a little bit. Hero. On my hero, I want to give this a background, right? We want to be able to see it, and it is that gradient. So background, linear gradient, primary, secondary, did I not do primary? I closed my colors. Did I call it main? I did call it main. Okay, there we go. And so that looks good. We just want this to, we don't want it to be going up and down. We want it to be going from the left to the right. So to right. There we go. So it's going to the right now. And this little box has been driving me crazy. This happens when you copy and paste text from Photoshop, or I'm guessing other programs too. If you have a soft return, which is a shift enter, it's a line break instead of a paragraph return. When you copy and paste the text, it does that. So I just want to get rid of that really fast, whatever it might be. And you'll see here it's actually stuck together. And if I put a space, it's going to put the space, but it keeps that little box there. So sometimes you actually have to delete like a full, an actual character and then put it back, and that seems to fix it. Not quite sure why that happens, but that's okay. On our hero, so we have our background. That looks awesome. And I'm also going to change the color of all the text to text inverse. And you might be saying, whoops, I didn't spell inverse properly. Inverse. There we go. What I was saying is you might be wondering why I'm calling it text inverse and I'm not just putting color of white. And it just is, you know, I in my colors, let's open those back up for a second. I might change this white to something else, and then I might have to modify my text inverse to keep it being white. Or I might, at one point, when all the colors change later on in this project, which could always happen, it could be there's some changes. Text inverse might not be white anymore. Maybe I need that to be a different color. So it's nice to keep those as two separate elements, so I can control them separately if I need to, and it's not necessarily locked together, is the main reason I'm doing that. I haven't done anything in header. This is my main header. I could just, you know, be using my header selector, but as I mentioned when I did my markup, I like having classes for as much as possible, just because it helps with my specificity. So main header, it will be position absolute, which will help me position it on top. There we go. Oh, that shrank everything down, so my logo actually shrank. And now if I do my top of 0, a left of 0, a right of 0, my logo's probably gonna get big again. Yeah, okay, which is fine. This is where I like having my logo. I think that's what I called it. We'll find out in a second. Width. Width. I think I'm going to go with a percentage. I'm going to have this change. Let's just try 30% and see what happens. 25% looks a little big right now. 25, that looks a little nicer. And I do want to prevent it from getting either too big or too small. Because of course it can get really, really, really big. And of course if I go a lot smaller, it's also going to shrink down and get really, really tiny. So we want to stop that from happening. So I'm going to go with a width of about 25%. But we will lock that in with a min width. And, whoops. I'm not sure what I'm going to put yet though. Max width. We're going to try a few things here. These I will do with rems. So 10 rem and 15 rem. So we're going to see how that does. Let's just go bigger and smaller. Whoops. Though that's as big as it's getting, and that's a little, that'll probably be okay. I'm missing the top of my screen because of the margin on this text right now. So I can't see exactly, but that looks okay. So you can see it's growing. We have a little growth and shrinkage right there going on. I think I'm happy with that. I do need to put, or do I even need that actually? Yeah, I do. Okay. Or else it's just always going to be at the max width, which makes sense. Put that back in. My logo is also going to be, my main header needs to be a display flex. It got smaller when I did that. That's interesting. This will be a flex of 1. Let's just do 0, 0. No, I shouldn't need that. But for my navigation, what was it? Main nav width. Can I do this 60%? When things don't work how I expect them to, background of pink. I like seeing where they are. Logo background of light blue. They're both inside my, it was main header, right? Yeah, so they're both inside main header. Main header is flexing. Let's give main header a background color now. Background of yellow. If it's display flex and flex wrap. Why aren't they going next to each other if that's such a display flex? and speccord. Oh, because the container is inside. Whoopsie doodles. That would make sense why that's not working. So actually, that main header, I can take that off. I don't need that there. Save, because they are inside of the grid and I haven't started setting that up at all. Layout. I'm not going to build the whole grid system now. I just do want this one though. Save. Sass layout grid dot sass. So I have my grid, and the basics for my grid is going to have a display of flex on there. Right? Yes. So my grid is display flex, and that still didn't do what I was hoping. Oopsie doodles. I do this a lot. This is one of the problems with pre-pros that sort of drives me nuts a little bit. If I save something before I bring it into as an import here, it's going to export it as its own thing. So it's exporting my layout into the grid there, and then it sort of screws that whole thing up. So if ever you do that, I can delete that, move to trash. That's gone. I can import my grid. So at import layout / grid. The order that I put things here, I just like having my grid before I get into my other things. But just so you know, this is the order that it gets exported into my CSS file as. So if that's sort of why I put my grid before my other things. And there we go. They go next to each other like I want them to. Cool. So just now that the parent is display flex, so now that this parent is display flex, these two go next to each other like that, and we see everything is sort of falling into columns now just by doing that. The grid display flex is the first step in that whole column system, and it's gonna really right away helps us out a lot. We can turn off our background colors, I guess, now. Header. Turn off the background color, turn off the background color. Save. Save. Now, obviously, my main nav isn't going to be there, but even this width of 60, I was just trying to do something that would make sure it fits. I think even if I got rid of that, it would still... Yeah. I want to save that for another video because it's going to be long just to do the navigation. I want to make a mobile first navigation. It's going to be a hamburger menu. Then at larger screen sizes it won't be. Let's just finish fixing this up a little bit. For the moment, actually, let's just do a main nav display none. Just so it's not overlapping and it's not in our way. And we're going to come right back in the next video to fix that one up. But for now, I don't want my logo on top of my text, obviously. So what I need to do is I need to move everything down a little bit. So my hero, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a little bit of padding. So padding top, and these are really just, let's start with 10M padding top. A bit smaller, 8M padding bottom. 8. I'll go with 8 for now. Does that make sense? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to fix this up and make it look decent. And I am going with a mobile first approach on this. So I do want to be looking at smaller screen sizes. That's okay for now. We could fix that right away, actually. Base. Image width is max width 100% and a height of auto. There we go. That looks a little bit better. So on my hero, I also have my hero image, which will be display none for now. That looks a little bit better. We're also going to want to do a text align center on this. That looks a little bit better. On my grid, I usually have some padding on that. No, it's on my columns actually. I don't feel like building out the grid just yet. I'm going to leave this as is. Oh, but I haven't even done my container yet. Container width of, let's just do 95% for now. Max width of 1200 pixels. And what else should we give it? We should do a margin of 0 auto. There we go, just to keep stuff from sticking to the sides. Okay, so it's already better. We are going to now need to start fixing up my typography a little bit to make that look better. I'm not going to do the buttons. Man, I'm all over the place in this video a little bit. I really do apologize. I thought it'd be easier to do it this way. Oh no, I have another one of those little boxes too. See what I said about being all over the place? Sexy pictures. Sexy pictures. Oops. There we go. So that looks a little bit better. Okay, so what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? My logo is gonna stay there because I'm gonna put a little hamburger menu here that's gonna pop out. But I should. Okay, we're gonna make this look nice, and yes, we're just gonna make this look nice. I'm not gonna worry about the typography just yet. Just getting the basics of the layout down for now. So Appalicious, it should not be touching the top. So why don't I just do 1M here? Keep that off the top. There we go. And that should help with my hamburger menu as well. The positioning of everything there isn't too bad actually. Then what I want to do okay, new plan guys. We're going to build the whole site responsive and then we're going to come back through the entire thing and fix it up for larger screens. That's the new plan. And part 2 of the plan is we're going to end the video here. And the main reason I'm ending the video here is it is getting a little bit long and I've sort of set up the layout and the basics of what's going to make everything work. The next video is going to be my navigation. No. The next video will be setting up the typography a little bit. We want to get the typography looking a little bit nicer because right now the spacings are off, the font sizes are off. So the next thing is just going to be setting up the typography, which will also include my buttons. Once that is set up, we will tackle the navigation. Once the navigation is done, we'll start moving through this, and that's going to mean really making our grid system work properly. The first parts of the grid system are going to be pretty basic, but they will be developed upon, and we are going to make them look a little bit better as we go through, because once I go to the larger screen size, it will be the last video, or one of the last videos will be going to the larger screen size, and that's really going to be developing the whole responsiveness of the column system, and really seeing the full power of the column system. I think that is definitely going to make the most sense for how I'm going to build this out, because I'm sort of getting all over the place right now and I want to focus a bit more. So I apologize for the sort of skittishness of this one. Again, I'm usually have all of my typography set up, and I know I wanted to show you my actual workflow, but I wanted to be a little bit less abstract for you guys, so I wanted you to be seeing things as I'm working on them, so I thought this would work better. and the next ones should be awesome. I hope this one was awesome too. Not to, I don't want this video to feel bad. I think I did a pretty good job on it. It's starting to come together. We're starting to see the project go in the right direction. So actually, we might as well finish this one off by committing all of this. I'm not really sure what my comment is going to be on this one because I did a whole bunch of random stuff pretty much. What have I done? I do want to do all of that. Let's first branch from I want to go back to my master branch from master branch. So we'll create a branch. The branch name will be what did I do in this one? We'll call this one basic layout. Oops, basic layout. Create a new branch. Started the basic layout stuff. Not too awesome, but we can commit that to there. There's no local changes. Let's publish it so that is online. So if you guys do want to come in here and check out what's going on, it will be on GitHub. I'm going to wait to merge this back in once we've done a little bit more work. And awesome. That's it for this video. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed so you can keep following along with this series. And yeah, we already know what's going to be coming up next. So leave a comment down below if you have any questions, any comments, anything like that. I hope you did like this video. If you did like it, please hit the thumbs up. It's always nice to, good for my ego. And that's it for now, guys. Take it easy.